Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Whether this is your first time at Shir Tikva or your bajillionth time at Shir Tikva, welcome. And I know that this is going to feel a little bit new and different for all of us. We normally have a guitar and a piano and different forms of music. And this week we're leaning into what we're calling Shabbat Unplugged. So if you ever feel like musical skills are a requirement in praying, this is your reminder that it is not. It doesn't matter how off-key you sing or how many words you know or whatever it is, as long as you are praying and leaning into it from the heart. That is what matters. And in addition to the joy of Shabbat tonight, we have the honor and privilege of welcoming in a new human into the world. So we're very excited to name James officially with his Hebrew name to be announced. And with all of that joy, it feels especially wonderful to be here together. So let's turn to page 10 and we'll sing Hine Ma Tov. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good and how pleasant it is to be here together. And I am delighted to invite up Florence and Ethan and Andrea and Henry to come light our Shabbat candles. If I've surprised you, I can help you with the matches. That's okay. But we're going to have James's grandparents bring a little bit of physical light into our Shabbat, given that we have a lot of spiritual light with us this evening. And the blessing can be found on page 2. That's why we give you a whole thing of matches. You can just use the second one to light the second candle. It's all good. You're doing great. All right. Okay. And we'll do the blessing all together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Yashar koach, thank you. And you can sit down. And we'll turn now to page 13 with On Shabbat. It's a special enough and joyous enough occasion that we have a whole extra set of psalms that we usually sing, of embracing that way that music can really animate our joy, or even if it's just a feeling of relief or maybe a little bit of relaxation after hopefully having a Thanksgiving where at the very least you didn't have to work. So we'll lean into all of that with Psalm 96 on page 13. Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, barechu shemo, basru miyom le'yom yeshuato, safaru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai, umhulal meod, norahu, al kol Elohim, ay, ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim, va'adonai shamayim asa, hod v'hadar le'efanav, oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, yismechu hashamayim v'tagel ha'aretz, iram hayam u'melo'o, Ya'alo Sadai, V'chol asher bo, az yiranenu, kol atzeyar, lifnei Adonai ki iva, lishbot haaretz, Yishbot tevel be'etzedek ve'amim be'emunato. Ay, anay, nay, ay, 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 anay, nay, anananay. Let's try just the nine-eyes. Ay, ay, nay, nay, ay, ay, nay, nay, ay, ay, nay, nay, ay, ay, nay, 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 ay, nay, nay, and nay, and nay, nay, and nay, and nay, 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 and nay, nay, and nay, and nay, nay, and nay, nay, and nay, and nay, nay, and nay, and nay, nay, and nay, and nay, yay, na, nay, nay, and nay, and nay, and nay, and nay, nay, and nay, 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 nay. Ay, ay, nay, nay, ay, ay, nay, nay, ay, ay, nay, nay, yay, nay, 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 nay. We'll turn now to Lecha Dodi on page 20, which is a moment, as if having a baby naming wasn't already enough, we channel the joy of a wedding in welcoming Shabbat as if she is a bride. So when we get to the 9th verse, we will turn toward the doors and welcome her in. And we will be doing verses 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat, page 20, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad לשם ותפארת, ולתהילה לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 8. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי. על יד איש בן פרתי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Please rise and face the doors. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Please be seated, and while you're doing so, now that we've greeted Shabbat, we should really greet each other. So find someone, wish them a Shabbat Shalom at home, here, wherever you are. There's something nice about actually being a little bit intimate, and you can say Shabbat Shalom to everyone in the 2 seconds I give you. We're going to turn now to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish, which marks the split in our service between welcoming in Shabbat and getting ready into the evening service proper. So page 26. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביום הכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לא מעלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. We'll read together in the English in the middle of page 27. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, unripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We lean into that call to lean into Shabbat, and we turn to page 28 as we rise in body or in spirit for the Baruch. Yananai nai nai, 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 yananai nai nai. Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yananai nai nai. 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 You may be seated. We welcome in the evening with Ma'ariv Aravim, and we'll do the English of this prayer on page 31 at the top. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the currents of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32. Ahavat olam beit Israel amcha ahavta. Torah umitzvot, chukim umishpatim otanu limadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochvenu uvekumenu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu ve'orach yamenu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Israel. Page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha. Veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvi'isharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. So when we do our ve'ahavta, it specifically speaks of this idea of not just loving God with all of our heart, but about teaching our children and about passing on that love. So in that spirit, now is our moment for James to get his name. So I'm going to invite up Sarah and Matt with James and Tess to do the very honorary job of carrying him in, Tess's aunt. And I'm also going to invite back up our grandparents. No matches involved this time, I promise. And we'll get to do a little bit of blessing and a little bit of learning about what his name means, and a lot of celebrating together. So I'm going to hand this to you in addition to the piece you're reading. I'm going to hand that to you. And when we do our B'nai Mitzvah at Shir Tikva, I'm going to hand this to you. One of the key points of that service is when we gather on the bima together up here, and the Torah is passed from generation to generation. We start with our grandparents, and then we pass it to parents, and then to our children, because we recognize that James would not be here without all of you. So as our starting moments of honoring that, I'm going to ask our grandparents. I just handed you a sheet of paper that has English reading on it. And so if you want to start here, and we'll go one by one, and if you want to read these pieces invoking the covenant.
Just as God created the covenant with Abraham and Sarah to span generations, may you reach into the future, yet never lose touch with the past.
I forgot about this part.
Just as God promised Noah to never destroy the earth, so too may you always show compassion to all creatures.
Just as God remembered the covenant when hearing the cries of injustice in Egypt, may you be dedicated to justice and respond to the cries of your fellows.
Do you want to do the next one, and then we'll do it all together?
I should keep going.
Yeah.
Just as the ark of the covenant held the holiness of God, so too may your body hold the sacredness of your soul. May it serve as a holy vessel for the beauty and strength contained within you.
And all of our grandparents together. This last paragraph.
Our God, ancestors, we thank you for the gift of this child, whom we welcome into the covenant of Israel today. May he grow to maturity,
Embraced by compassion and love,
and the love of all who know him. May the
Lena,
God's sheltering presence be with him always. May the words of the Torah surround him, clothed in majesty and honor. May he always look to the future with joy and hope.
And let us all say, Amen. And Tess, I should say, if you want to sit down at any point, you can do that. And now is the big moment why we're here, which is to hear a little bit about James's name. And traditionally, his Hebrew name is not spoken aloud until this moment where you get to share. So it's like a big build-up and excitement, and what's it going to be? And it's a sweet reveal. So I'm going to hand the microphone to you to share a few words about what his name is and what it means to you.
So my name is Sarah. This is Matt. We chose the name Ori for little James because I think Ori means light, and I think in this time we all need a little bit of light right now, and I think that's very timely, and I think James will hopefully bring that. He's already brought that into our lives for just the 11 weeks that he's been with us, so I think he's got a very bright future.
I think Sarah said everything I could have possibly said, but yeah, it's sometimes feels like we're living in dark times, but he has really been a light in our lives, and we hope all those around us as well.
And as I shared with both of you, it feels fitting to have a name that evokes light because we are also in the month of Kislev right now, which is all about bringing light into the darkness. So may he continue to embrace that light and evoke that light and bring light to all of us. And I'll ask you, Sarah and Matt, to read our next piece about bringing him into the covenant and what that means, and I'll help you with the Hebrew words.
Okay. We dedicate our child to Torah, to a never-ending fascination with study and learning. With a book, he will never be alone. We dedicate our child to the chuppah, to never-ending growth as a human being capable of living and receiving love.
With loving family and friends, he will never be alone. We dedicate our child to Ma'izim Tovin, to a never-ending concern for family and community, justice and kindness. When he cares for others, he will never be alone.
Okay, and the blessing is, repeat after me, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Eloheinu melech haolam,
asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav,
asher kadishanu b'mitzvotav,
v'tzivanu,
v'tzivanu,
lehachnisa
lechachnisa,
bivritam
bivritam,
shel Avraham
shel Avraham,
Avinu,
Avinu,
v'sara iminu.
Visara Aminu.
Blessed are you, source of life, ruling spirit of the universe, who sanctifies Sarah and Matt with your mitzvot, and has commanded you to bring your son into the eternal covenant of your ancestors Abraham and Sarah. And let us say, Amen. And now, James, for your official big announcement moment, because we have to make everything fancy in Judaism, right? There's the blessings, and then there's the singy blessings, and he'll get used to it. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham, Yitzchak ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Leah ve'Rachel, kayem et hayeled hazeh le'aviv ule'imo, va'ikra shemo be'Yisrael, Ori ben Matthew ve'Chava. Yismach ha'av ve'yotzeh chaltzav, ve'tagel imo v'fri v'itna, Ze hakaton gadol ihyeh, keshem shenichnas labritz, ken yikanes laTorah ulechuppah ulema'asim tovim. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, sustain this child through his parents' loving care. Let him be known among our people Israel by the name Ori ben Matthew ve'Chava. May his name be a source of joy to him, and may it inspire him to serve our people and all humankind. May his parents rejoice in his growth of body and soul. This little one, James, may you grow to be big. May you be a blessing to your family, to the Jewish people, and to all humanity. As your parents have brought you into the covenant, So may your parents, with wisdom and patience, lead you to a life of passionate study, abundant love, and a generous heart. And let us say, Amen. And as a last blessing in this particular moment, we offer you the oldest blessing in our Jewish history for our newest and youngest member. So you all can gather in close. And don't worry, cousins, there's a role for you later, just so you know. And I'm actually going to invite all of us, this is the priestly benediction, and we can hold up our hands as a way of sending that blessing and that energy to James as you're going to send light back to us. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha ve'yichuneka. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up toward you, and may God bless you with peace. And let us say, Amen. Mazel tov. And as you all rejoin the community, there's even one more blessing, which is our Shechianu, which is a blessing of reaching a particular moment in time. So the ending of this blessing, and if you don't remember it, that's okay, is Shechianu, V'kiyamanu, V'higianu, Lazman Hazeh. And as we all get to witness this newness, and as we all are going to benefit from the light that James, that Ori brings us all, we can say that blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu vehigianu lazman hazeh. Amen. I feel like we could just end services right here. Isn't everyone like full of joy? But it does feel like a good moment to go into our Micha Mocha, which is a crossing the sea moment, and imagining that awe of not knowing what was ahead, and then seeing the seas literally part, and with the wishes for James and everyone in your life that the seas part for you when they need to part. So we'll turn to page 40. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh. Let's try that repeat after me style. Micha Mocha. Your turn. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai. Your turn. Micha Mocha. Try that. Nedar Ba'kodesh. Let's try that all together. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh Nora Tehilot Osefele Baruch Baruch Ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. That little bit of an almost cry is actually beautifully timed, because this is the point in our service where we've been offering a prayer for Israel, and knowing that as much joy as this room contains, there is also still heartbreak and longing and wishing for a different world. This is a prayer written by Malila Helner-Eshed, who lives in Israel. God of the spirit of all flesh, here we are before you, broken spirits torn by grief. Have mercy on us, mortals created in your image. Watch over us in a time of destruction and tragedy, terror, death, and panic. Please, please, may our compassion be revealed. May the love within us overwhelm the harsh judgment, vengeance, and evil within us. Behold, fierce, burning pain cries out, seeking revenge, not comfort. Watch over us, Shekhinah, our strength, over our scorched spirits, our terrified souls, over our completely infuriated flesh. May the divine image rise, shining like the dawn from our crushed hearts. May we have faith that we will merit to witness the goodness of the Holy One, the goodness of humanity in the land of the living. And let us say, Amen. And we turn now with that to thoughts and prayers for peace on page 42, hoping for a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace for everyone. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch Ata Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al Yerushalayim. We now have the opportunity to do a little bit of praying both out loud and in our hearts as we turn to the Amidah on page 46. So please rise in body or in spirit. Yananai, nai, nai, yananai, nai, nai, yananai, nai, nai, yananai, nai, nai. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekoneh Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avod V'Imaot Umevi Geula Livnei Vnehem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch Ata Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please continue silently with the prayer in your hearts or in our siddur through page 62. You may sit after you have completed your tefillah. Now, coming out of a prayer for peace into praying, as we have been for several weeks, for the release and the return of those taken hostage. And I will say that this prayer feels a little bit different for me in this moment, having a sense of sometimes It can feel like prayer is futile, and I know we can have lots of conversations about the efficacy of prayer, but it does feel like something to have said these words over and over and to know that there are some people who are spending Shabbat with their family once again this week. Our God, the one who raised Joseph up from the pit, be, as it says in Psalm 9, a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. Send complete rescue and full redemption to those held captive by the enemy. Strengthen their spirits and bring them our prayers that they be protected from all harm. Implant understanding in the heart of those who hold them captive, that they may return the captives in wholeness of body and spirit. Grant wisdom to the Israel Defense Forces, that they may secure freedom for the captives without further loss of life. Grant strength of spirit and courage of heart to all the children of Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar, to release bonds of captivity and allow us all to live in freedom. As it says in Psalm 91, they shall call upon me and I will answer them. I will be with them in distress. I will rescue them and honor them. And let us say, Amen. And we also extend our prayer to those in need of support and healing a little bit closer to home, or maybe further away, with our Misha Berach. And we can let our eyes meet the names of those in our community that are on our board up here. And if there are other names of people you are praying for healing for, please add them now. Our Misha Berach is found on page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu v'imotenu Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah Hu yevarech et hacholim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem Lehachalimam Ulerafotam Ulehachazikam Vayishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Urefuat HaGuf Hashtav Agala Uvizman Kariv Venomar Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Among the many great debates of our time, like canned cranberry sauce versus fresh cranberry sauce, or cats versus dogs, or iPhones versus Androids, there is one more that sometimes goes a little more unspoken, but can very much animate conversation. And that's the question of, are you a hard pillow person or a soft pillow person? Do you prefer a pillow that squishes into nothing or a pillow that resembles concrete? Although I tend to fall into the latter category, our patriarch Jacob's choice of pillow this week caught me off guard. In this week's Torah portion, we pick up with Jacob leaving his parents' house. After deceiving his brother of his birthright, Jacob flees to take refuge with his uncle. And the narration of the journey tells us, Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. He came upon a certain place and he stopped there for the night, for the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of that place, he put it under his head and lay down. Jacob chooses a literal rock as a pillow in this instance. And in this less than ideal sleeping arrangement, he dreams of angels going up and down a ladder and has a vision of God that assures him in a difficult moment that he will be okay. Although I am not certain that I would even choose a rock over the hard ground in his situation, I do think that there's something to be learned from his pillow choice, especially given the circumstances he was in the moment and the circumstances we find ourselves in right now. As our sages talk about this moment in Jacob's life, they reflect that he's in a time of darkness. As one commentary notes, Jacob's journey begins with a setting sun, and his time with Laban ends with a rising sun. As this commentary says, this indicates that the 20 years in Laban's house were a dark night of the soul. Yet despite this darkness, Jacob pulls up that rock to use as a pillow. And not only that, but in this moment, it is so powerful and weighty in our tradition that this moment is the moment that our sages use to attribute to Jacob the literal institution of an evening prayer. They say that it is because of Jacob in this moment of coming upon the rock and taking a moment to pause, that's where we get the idea of Mariv from, of that third prayer service in our day. And as it's put so beautifully by the same commentary, when the sages attribute to Jacob the institution of the evening prayer, they may be crediting him as the first person able to find God in the midst of darkness. I don't know about you, but I have been feeling the weightiness of darkness in these days. And there are moments when I feel like I don't even deserve to reach for that rock. That somehow if I take that rock, it doesn't belong to someone else. That if I dare to feel a thread or a piece of joy, I'm somehow doing a disservice. But our tradition teaches that we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to stay in the darkness forever. Even Ecclesiastes, one of our writings that is the most hopeless in certain ways, literally says, the earth remains the same forever. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full of this incredible angst. Even Ecclesiastes offers us this. Only this I have found is a real good, that one should eat and drink and get pleasure with all the gains they make under the sun, during the numbered days of life that God has given them. And it's this that I'm leaning into this Shabbat. This idea from Ecclesiastes that we still deserve joy, that we still deserve a reprieve from the suffering even in dark days, that joy is not finite, that pausing isn't finite, that offering gratitude isn't finite. Tali Versano Eisman, an Israeli, offered this poem. She said, "When I'm drowning, I don't need you to describe the water to me, not its color, not its depth, for I feel it up to my neck. I only ask you, don't ever stop describing what the dry land looks like." My hope for all of us in this moment is that we can keep our eye on the dry land, whether it comes in the form of a baby naming or in the form of maybe some laughter shared around the Thanksgiving table, or whether it will be in the lights of Hanukkah to come, or even in the knowledge that even though there are those still held hostage, there are 24 people who have come home. It is not just an ask of us, but an obligation of us to be willing to reach for the hope, to be willing to reach for the light, to be willing to reach for the sunrise. As Jacob did, it may sometimes feel like all we have is a rock as a pillow, but at the very least, we can still reach for that rock. Shabbat Shalom. We turn now to the Aleinu on page 282. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, לתקן עולם במלכות שדי, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We stay standing as we turn to the mourner's Kaddish, recognizing those who we might be especially missing this Shabbat. And this week, we are still remembering the recent passing, still in the Shloshim, for Shelley Yarmovsky, the father of Shatna Gershman, and Richard Goldman, the brother of Diane Ruskell. And we are remembering the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Ralph Brown, David Chernak, Michael Ginden, Oscar Kramer, Rhoda Lazarus, Goldie Levy, Norris Lionel Nathanson, Nicholas Pandisio, Alan Romanow, Alan Steven Siegel, Shelley Score, Hermine Patricia Sloan, and Robert Yarmus. If there are others you're remembering, please add their names. Thank you. For the names we've said out loud and the names in our hearts, Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Itgadal v'itgadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yirteh ve'amlich malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyamachon uv'chayei zechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam umei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitala v'yitalal shmei dekudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nachamata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. So even when we're in the break of Thanksgiving, we are always looking ahead to all that is to come at Temple Shir Tikva. So tomorrow, if you're still in the Shabbat spirit, you can join us for Minyan and Torah study hybrid here at 8:30, and Torah study at 9:30. And starting this Wednesday, I am co-teaching a class with Julie Udovin from an organization that provides support to people who are survivors of domestic violence. And we're teaching a class on Jewish text and domestic violence awareness. So it'll be an opportunity if you're a person who likes to wrestle with difficult text. I invite you to join us. If you're a person who shows up for your community and is a community supporter, it's a great opportunity to learn how to show up for one another, or if you just want to meet some people. Additionally, on Thursday, ACE has their bi-weekly Mahjong game. And on Friday, this Friday is the first of the month, and it's our Shabbat Yeladim and Bayachad and consecration. So it's a really big moment for our school and welcoming more of our students into our learning, and lots of fun there. And then next week on Sunday, so a week from tomorrow, there is also a Judaism Through Baseball event. And this is a special conversation with major leaguer and Olympian Ryan, oh gosh, now I'm going to butcher his name. Thank you, Laverne Way. You can tell I'm not a baseball fan, sorry. And longtime MLB writer and analyst Jonathan Mayo. And that event is in person only, and there will be Q&A and autographs and book purchasing and signing after the conversation. So whether you're a baseball lover or a Torah lover or a Mahjong lover, there is something for everybody. And we will, before we conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi, so you all are on deck, we will rise and sing the Hatikva, our Song of Hope. Page 374. Please rise. Kolod balevav peni homia, ulfate mizrach kadima, ayin letzion tzofia. Olo avda tikvatenu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liotam chofshi be'artenu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim, liotam chofshi be'artenu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim. All right, we're gonna do our Kiddush and Motzi, so I'm gonna call up James's cousins. Do you wanna come help us? Ruby and Lila? And anyone else who wants to come up? So we are going to bless our grape juice and our challah. And not only do I like to think of this as a moment when we have a baby naming, it is both the joy of grape juice and challah of a regular Shabbat, but it's also a blessing of sweetness and a sending off of James with some sweetness and with the nourishment of challah and the hopes that he will always feel fulfilled in that way. So for this part, we'll make sure that you all have cups. Does one of you want to hold the fancy cup? Yeah, you can hold it together. All right. And the Kiddush is on page 5. We'll wait a second till everyone has their joy around. All right. And if you even want to give James a tiny, tiny taste of the grape juice, that's a tradition that happens at baby namings. I will leave that to your discretion because I know he's extra little. But I want to give us this kavanah, this intention, in addition to a Shabbat Kiddush. Of James, taste now, or hypothetically taste this grape juice offered to you in the hope that you will draw contentment, comfort, and joy from the cup of life. May its sweet flavor linger on your lips, heightening life's rapture and easing its bitter moments. And we'll do the Kiddush together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. L'chaim, you can drink it now. And of course, our challah. This is my favorite part because we get to eat the challah after we bless it. So, and a little kavanah, a little intention for our challah in addition to our usual. Challah is a symbol of sustenance, and we hope that your daily strivings, James, will make you feel sustained and fulfilled. May your life be sustained by the sweetness of family and friends, and by all of your dear family, including your cousins. So, hold on, let me open this. And you all can hold this up. Oh, yeah, totally. All right.
Do you want to hold it up together? It's a big tray. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avo. Do you want to take a piece? And let's send ourselves off with a mazel tov. Simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov. Yeilanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulecho Israel. Shabbat shalom, everybody, and mazel tov. And thank you to our awesome helpers. All right.
this